class, I'll be discussing price and output determination under collusive oligopoly. In our previous video, we discussed what is meant by a collusive oligopoly, that is, firms in an oligopolistic market agree to work together and supply to the market as a single firm. This is when they agree not to compete with one another uh, in terms of price, output, and other things. Okay, so they come together to operate as one. In other words, we form what is called a cartel. That is when they form a cartel. Okay, so you can think of a collusive oligopoly like cartel like OPEC. Are the price and output determined under collusive oligopoly. Okay, like I say firms, all the firms in this oligopoly will come together and operate as one, meaning that they migrate from being migrate the market from being oligopoly to a monopoly, because once they collude and they come together, okay, and operate as one, so they migrate the market from an oligopolistic market to a monopoly market, because they are going to operate as a monopoly because they will be supplying to the market jointly. Okay, so let's take a look at this illustration. So we are going to use that behavior. So we have quantity, that is output here. So this is the origin. We have price and cost here. So we have the demand curve, that is also known as average revenue curve. So here we have marginal revenue curve. Then we have marginal cost curve here. Okay, so in the equilibrium, okay, because the goals of this firm is to maximize profit. Individual firms in this market want to maximize profit. Their goal is to maximize profit, but because they are colluding, so they are going to maximize profit jointly. Because they are supplying him under one umbrella as a single firm, so in other words, they are going to maximize profit jointly. In other words, so the total output to maximize profit jointly, the market's marginal cost will be equal to the marginal revenue. Okay, the market marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, because this represents market marginal cost, okay, and this represents market marginal revenue, and this represents the industry demand curve. Okay, so just know that this is industry, that is market marginal cost. This is also industry marginal revenue, and this is industry demand. Okay, so it's not for individual firms. So, and because they want to maximize profit, and you remember this is the profit maximization condition for any firm. So when MC is equal to MR, you can see this is industry MC curve and this is industry MR curve. This is where they intersect. So at this point, they are going to maximize profit jointly. In other words, if I name this Q, so to determine the price, so I'm going to create this equilibrium. Let me name it E. I trace it to the demand curve. Then wherever I trace demand curve, I trace it back to the price line. So this is P. Okay. In other words, of the firm, that is all firms in this market, will charge the same price because they are operating as one. Okay, they are going to charge the same price. The price they are going to charge is OP, or simply P. Okay, if I look at it, the form of this instance as a OP. Okay, but the price is what is P. Okay, so in order not to create confusion, let me just say P. Okay, so the price to be charged by the firms in this market, all these firms in this market, because they are supplying as one and they are going to charge the same price. Okay, so the price will be P. That is the price they are going to charge. Okay, and all these firms, the output they are going to produce and supply to the market. Okay, the output, okay, will be Q, and this Q will be shared by all the firms in this market, all the firms that have come together to collude in the market, they really want to share this out. For example, let's say there are 10 firms in the market. Let's say there are 10 firms in the market. If there are firms, the number of firms in the market 10, and let's say the output in the market is just 100. Okay, so they are going to share this 100 unit among themselves. Okay, they might share it equally to be 10. For each firm will produce 10 units of output and supply to the market. By that, they share the output. You can see another way of sharing the output can be on quota. That some firms will get higher quota than other firms. So what matters is that they supply jointly to the market and they agree on the quantity they are going to supply to the market and they share the quantity among themselves. So this is how the price and output are determined under collusive oligopoly. So in our next video, we are going to discuss how price and output are determined under non-collusive oligopoly. Don't forget to like the video, drop your comment, and always share the videos to benefit others. Thank you. See you in the next video.